This week's Whole House video features Archie Gips, the president and partner of Unrealistic Ideas, a business venture he's currently working on with the one and only Mark Wahlberg. So Archie's local ties go way back to when he was working on the set of Wahlburgers here in the Hingham Shipyard. Really cool stuff. And so it was a real pleasure to work with Archie and talk to Archie about being here in the South Shore and connecting the dots to all the big Hollywood stuff he's working on in LA. So if you're into filmmaking or you're into entrepreneurship, this is the podcast you want to listen to. Archie talks about how he got to where he's at, what it's like working for himself, and the real meaning to finding happiness in what you do for your day-to-day. And without further ado, here he is, Archie Gips. Here we go.
So yeah, I like I said to you guys earlier, I went to Syracuse undergrad, then I went to grad school at NYU, and I was a screenwriter. So I came out to LA as a writer, and then I slowly kind of made my way into doing non-scripted stuff. And people are always confused, like, "Oh, you're a writer? So did you write reality shows?" Like, no, I didn't write anything, but I came up with like story scenarios, and that's how a lot of reality TV back in the day was done. And I worked on a show called Duck Dynasty. And so with Duck Dynasty, you know, they had all these crazy characters, and we would be like, you know, what if this guy did this? And then they would just do it. It would all be real, what they did. But like, we'd put them in, it's called soft scripted. So it'd be like a scenario that happens, and the guys would do it. And it was all, none of it was written per se, but it was, you know, it was conceived, and like the format of what was going to happen was sort of vaguely put on paper. So with Wahlburgers, they knew that I had that storytelling experience. So I was suggested to come on Wahlburgers and work as a producer on that show. And in doing so, I got a chance to meet Mark and Alma and Donnie and the entire Wahlberg family. And they turned me into the showrunner because I was able to kind of give them a creative vision on the show. And I became friendly with the family over time. And that's kind of how Mark and I built up our relationship and how we ended up being partners to this day.
The fact that you guys are like around this area so much, it's just so cool that you're able to relate to these kinds of things. And, you know, for us to have these LA guys who like know about Hingham and know about Hull, I mean, really, it's just such a cool little thing for us to be able to connect the dots with. And even the family component that we were talking about, just values that we like all kind of resonate with. I mean, you guys just really are like such role models for us as we kind of move on in our endeavors and what we're trying to do.
Oh, thanks, guys. Really appreciate that. And, you know, I will say, you know, this all comes from Mark and from the heart, and it's all, like you said, it's authentic. And what Mark wanted to do with this show specifically, when we talked about it, how is it going to be different than Wahlburgers? He wanted people to get a glimpse and understanding of the amount of work that has to go into success. I mean, real success. And that there's a lot of obstacles along the way. You know, the expectation is, oh, Mark Wahlberg is making this movie and he's going to make $1 gajillion, and it's so easy. I wish I could do a movie. And Mark Wahlberg is now running a gym, and look how easy this is. And this guy just gets so lucky, and how everything falls into his lap. It's like, no, the guy grinds like no one I've ever met. And I work my ass off too. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why Mark likes me. And I really have the utmost respect for the guy. And my grind is late night. Like I always say that to him, like he wakes up at 3 a.m. I'm going to bed at like 2 a.m. after working my ass off, you know, working on projects and getting things done and creatively trying to put stuff together. And also having that family time. You know, that's the thing that Mark stresses. And I completely, you know, I've said this before, but like he'll call me up on the phone and I'll be like, hey man, so I got this project. He goes, whoa. How are Lucy and Wally? Those are my kids. You know, how they doing? What's going on? Like he like puts me like, wait a step. Like, how is the family? And that's that. You guys know, and you know, in the Boston area, like that's it. It's like, it's all about family and friends and working your ass off. And he's been fortunate enough to have tremendous success. So a lot of people don't get that amount of success, but it's certainly because of the hard work he does. And that's really what the message he wanted out there is, like, if you put in the hard work and you believe in yourself and you don't give up, you can do great things.
Thank you for watching this Whole House video. For For more, be sure to check out the Full Length podcast. Thank you, Archie, for coming on, and be sure to check out Wall Street, streaming now on HBO Max, where you can learn more about Archie and his endeavors with Mark Wahlberg and all the things that they're working on. Thanks again for listening.